Yo, what is going on, guys? Texco Serial, welcome back to another Brawl Stars video. Today, we're going to be doing a Brawler Fun tier list. Now, I had a couple of people ask for like a favorite Brawlers tier list. So this is kind of going to be that, but not exactly. It's kind of Brawler Fun. So this one is basically going to be my opinion. So there's going to be a lot of disagreement, probably. So, yeah, like I said, this one's my own tier list. And this one's kind of just like Brawler Fun tier list, but it's also like my favorite Brawlers. So I'm going to try and put my top 10 specifically in the S tier. And in order, the rest will kind of just be in their appropriate tier. So without further ado, let's just get started because I don't want to make a long intro. Starting off with Shelly. Shelly is, I don't mind playing her. She's not like fun and she's not very skillful. Like, I like having her pop off moments with her hypercharge. But other than that, C tier. Like, I don't think she's that fun. Next up, we have Nita. I just hate playing Nita. She's one of my least favorite brawlers, and she's just so boring to play because her range short, her attack is not that hard to hit, and your super, you just let Bruce do all the work. She's going F tier. I don't like playing Nita. Next is Colt, and Colt is kind of rising. I suck with him, which is why I don't really enjoy playing him. But I mean, especially with all his buffs he's received, he's definitely rising, so I will put him in the B tier. Next up is Bull, and he's another brawler I'm like, who cares? Like, I don't really like playing him too much, but he's okay. I'll give him C tier with Shelly. Next up is Brock, and Brock I actually kind of like playing. I like playing him more than Colt, but I just find it a little bit easier to play Brock because his shots aren't as hard to hit as Colt's, but his shots are still hard to hit. I'll put him in the B tier. I don't like him a lot. Like, he's like kind of the same with Colt, just a little bit better. But like I said, I'm not putting in order unless it's the S tier. Next up, we have El Primo. God, sorry. I don't know what happened there. Next up, we have El Primo. I don't like playing El Primo in the slightest. He's just the tank that sucks in this meta. He's going D tier. Next up is Barley, and I'm not the biggest thrower fan, but Barley is probably one of my favorite throwers. I don't know. Throwers are kind of just like not my type of style. So I'm going to give him C tier. Next up is Poco, and I hate playing Poco. Hate it. He's one of my least favorite brawlers. I find him so boring to play. Next up is Rosa, and she's another brawler I just don't really like playing. Like, I like her hypercharge, but alright, like, let's be real. She's such a boring brawler to play. Next up is Jessie, and this is another brawler I just do not like playing. I did just push her to rank 25, along with the next brawler, Dynamite. I pushed them both on the day the video is being recorded. I think the video will be uploaded 2 days after it's recorded. It should be uploaded on the 14th. So, yes, on Valentine's Day. But yeah, I don't really like playing Jessie. I like her playing more than the F tier brawlers though. Dynamite, I would say he's risen a lot. Like, I used to absolutely hate playing him, but his hypercharge is so satisfying, and I love just nuking people with the hypercharge. So I'll give him C tier, but that's the highest I can go. Next up is Tick, another boring thrower I just do not like playing. So he's going to go in the D tier. Next up is 8-Bit, and 8-Bit is just another brawler. Like, I don't know. I don't like playing him that much. He's slow, and he just has the damage, but I feel like that's kind of boring. Next up is Rico, and Rico is a top 10 favorite brawler of mine. I love playing Rico. He was my second rank 30 brawler, and I just find his just overall mechanics very fun, and the super chaining is insane. So he will be in the S tier. Next up is Daryl, and Daryl is just another tank that I just don't care about. I don't like playing him really that much, so he's going to drop into the D tier. Next up is Penny, and there was a brief period where I actually kind of liked playing Penny, but that period did not last very long, and she's kind of back down to where she was a while ago, so I put her in the C tier. Next up is Carl, and I'm not a big Carl lover, never have been, and I probably never will. I just don't really like his super. It's just kind of boring in my opinion, so he's going to go in the C tier. Jackie at one point was my second favorite brawler, but now, I love her hypercharge satisfaction, but she's not a skillful brawler. But I'm still going to give her B tier. Like, I still enjoy playing her, just not as much as I used to. Next up is Gus. I actually really like Gus. Gus is actually a very cool brawler, very unique, and I love the cookie popper satisfaction. He will be the first A tier. I love playing Gus. Next up, we have Bo, and Bo is, I don't know. I mean, he's kind of fun, especially with the damage, but I feel like his attack's kind of boring. So, and then his mines are just based on enemy IQ. So, I'll give him C tier. Next up is Ems, and Ems is another top 10 of my favorites, and I don't think I enjoy her more than I enjoy Rico, but she's definitely a top 10 favorite of mine. Next up is Stu, who also is top 10, without a doubt, and I like playing Stu more than both of Rico and Ems, so I'm going to put him on the top for right now. Next is Piper, and I don't know if Piper, I might have to make a couple changes to the A tier. I don't think Piper falls in the top 10, but Piper is definitely A tier for me. I love playing Piper. Next up is Pam, and Pam is... I don't like playing Pam really that much. Like, she has pure damage, but I feel like it's just boring to play her. Like, I'm going to put her in the D tier. Chungus! Big Chungus. I love Spear Knight Frank, but let's be real, this brawler is just not fun to play. Another brawler that I don't like playing is BB, because BB just sucks in this meta right now, and I never really have liked her. So I'm also going to put her in the F tier, which might surprise a lot of you, but I just don't like BB at all. B, I don't know. She's definitely in the A tier. I love playing B, but I don't know if she qualifies for S tier. So I'm going to put her in A tier for now. Like I said, I might have to change some things. Now, if you guys are a fan of the channel, you know Nani's my favorite brawler in the game, so we don't need to talk about Nani. I love playing Nani. She's my first epic brawler I got. Fell in love with her. She's my highest ranked brawler at rank 32. You can't beat Nani. I don't think you can dethrone her. I love playing Nani. Next up is Edgar, and Edgar's one of those brawlers, like, he's okay. Like, I'm gonna give him A tier because he's fun to play, but I just don't know. I don't think he qualifies for S tier anymore. Next up is Griff, and I don't like Griff. I feel like his attacks and super, like, they're satisfying to chain, but you only play Griff to open up the freaking map, and I just find his attacks boring. C tier. Grub is another thrower I just don't care about, and I don't like playing because, you know, I'm not a thrower main, so D tier. Bonnie. I think Bonnie is definitely still top 10. I would put her above Ems, but I'm going to put her below Rico. So I'm very confident that I can put Bonnie in the top 10. Next up is Gale, and he's one of my least favorite brawlers in the game, so I have to put him F tier. I just think his attacks and stuff are so boring. Next up is Colette, and I actually like playing Colette. For the longest time, I didn't like playing Colette, and then I actually started playing her ever since the Gotcha Gadget came out. And yeah, it's very fun, and then her Hypercharge is really fun to chain supers with. So I'm gonna give her B tier. Like, ooh, I don't know what. Okay, I don't know what happened there. I just lagged really bad. Hopefully, I didn't cut out right there. Next up, we have Ash, and Ash is another brawler just kind of suffering. Like, I don't mind playing Ash, but I'm not the biggest Ash lover. So for me, I'm gonna put him C tier. Next up is Lola, and Lola, when she first came out, was definitely one of my favorite brawlers in the game. But I feel like she's kind of dropped. Like, I don't like play her as much as I used to anymore. So I'm actually not gonna give her S tier. So I'm gonna put her in the A tier. Like I said, I might have to change it, but I know there's at least 3 or 4 brawlers that I'm seeing that are definitely gonna be S tier. So next up we have Sam, and Sam is I don't know. I'm not the biggest Sam lover. Like, I do like playing Sam, but not a crazy amount. So, gonna have to say C tier. Mandy is definitely in the S tier. I'm actually gonna put her above Stu. I think Mandy is like definitely a top 3. Well, not top 3. Definitely top 5. I love playing Mandy. She was actually the first brawler I mastered. Not because of her title. I just love the satisfaction with her super. Next up is Maisie, and she's definitely risen. I think she's definitely going to go S tier. I think she's going to be in the very back of the S tier, like towards like 9 or 10. But ever since I pushed her to rank 30, I've actually enjoyed playing Maisie because I love the satisfaction with the Hypercharge and their super. I don't think she takes a crazy amount of skill with the combination with Upper Gadget and super. But I love her challenge with her main attack. It's not very easy to hit. Next is Hank, and I had never have liked this brawler. Even when he was completely broken on release, I just don't like this brawler. Next is Pearl, and Pearl is an interesting one. Like, Pearl, I feel like the way you play her is just boring, but I love the pure damage you can deal. But the highest for me I can go with Pearl is C tier. Next up is the brand new brawler, Larry and Laurie, and man, God, he was broken on release. He's been emergency nerfed, but still. I have to put him C tier. I'm not a thrower lover, so C tier is the highest I can put him. Mortis is another brawler I do like. I actually like playing Mortis, even though I'm very terrible with him. He's actually a very fun brawler to play. So for me, I will give him A tier. I actually do like playing Mortis, even though I suck with him. But it is what it is. Next up, we have Terra. And Terra, I don't know. Because Terra was, and I believe when I did this video a long time ago with Favorite Brawlers, she was number 4. She's definitely fallen down a little bit, but I still do like playing her. I will put her up in the S tier. I'm going to put her right behind M's. So I have 8 brawlers in the A tier, or in the S tier right now. And there's definitely 2 more that I see. So I might have to take brawlers out of the S tier, which I'm not happy about, but I might have to, because there are 2 brawlers that are definitely up there. Next up we have Jean, and I like playing Jean. I always have, always will. Jean, for me, the super, it's satisfying. So I'm going to give him A tier as well. Next up is Max, and Max is, I don't know. I feel like our super just all it does is give speed, and I've never really been a Max player, so D tier. Mr. P, I feel like I kind of like playing, but at the same time, like, his porters do all the work, so C tier. Next up is Sprout, and I actually like playing Sprout. He's probably my favorite thrower on this list because of just his shots aren't the crazy hardest to hit, but they are pretty challenging to hit. But anything aggro, but as a thrower, don't like throwers, so C is the highest I can go. Next up is Byron, and a lot of people don't like playing Byron. I do. I actually like playing Byron. I'm more of a lover for the sharpshooters, and Byron definitely fulfills that spot for me, so I will give him A tier. Next is Squeak, and I just don't really care for this brawler. Like, can be annoying, but, I mean, I don't play him. D tier. Next up is Lou, and he's actually risen a lot ever since his Hypercharge came out. I've been playing Lou a lot, and he's actually quite fun. So I like Lou's attacks, and his super is just very fun to chain with the Hypercharge. So I'm going to give him B tier. I don't think I can give him A tier. Like, he's not, like, crazy fun. Next up is Colonel Ruffs, and I don't like playing him at all in the slightest. His attacks are just so boring. I just don't think, I'm not a fan of him. Next is Buzz, and Buzz, I don't know. Buzz, he's okay, but I'm not really a big Buzz lover. So for me, I'm going to have to put him C tier. Might be a little harsh. Fang, on the other hand, though, despite being not very high skill cap brawler at the moment, he is very fun to play. So he's definitely going to be in the A tier. Next up, we have Eve, and Eve is one of those brawlers where I'll like or I don't like, depending on if I play her on a showdown map like Acid Lakes, or if I'm just being annoyed by her. But I mean, I'll play Eve, so B tier. So you guys know me. I am the Janet simp. But that does not exclude that Janet is definitely a top 3 favorite brawler. And I will put her above Mandy. So, next up is Otis. And Otis, I like Otis. He's pretty fun. But I'm not a huge Otis fan. His super is quite boring, even though it's very strong. But I will put him in the B tier. I actually don't mind playing Otis. Next up is Buster. And I really liked Buster on his release. I loved just deleting people because he was so strong. And then he had his gadget that just made him even stronger. But ever since, he's kind of gotten a little bit more lackluster in terms of my favorites. But he's definitely still in the B tier for me. Next up, we have Gray. And Gray is another brawler I actually kind of like playing. Not a ton amount. I just love the assassin capabilities with him. So for me, I'm going to have to put him in the A tier. I love Gray. Next up is RT. And he's another brawler that kind of fell off because of the super nerf. Like, he can't spam it out, which is what I loved about him, just deleting people. But he's still pretty fun to play, so I'll give him B tier. Next up is Willow, and ever since her release, I have never, ever liked this brawler. She's, I think, only ranked 21. I don't like her at all. F tier. Next is Doug, and you guys might stun me for this, but I actually kind of like playing Doug, even though he's so bad of a brawler. But he actually can be very fun to play if you know how to chain his supers and can feed it off in Showdown. But in 3v3, you cannot play this brawler unless it's like a super bushy map, and you're going against some of the other worst brawlers in the game. But I'm going to give him C tier. Like, I don't mind playing him every once in a while. Chuck, I don't know. For me, Chuck, I know I said I put him in the S tier. Let's be real. Chuck does not take that much skill. All you do is you set up the posts in the heist, and you just spam the auto aim button on the super. Like, I'm not really a big fan of Chuck. I think his main attack is so just lame and boring, and it's also very weak too. I don't like his main attack in the slightest. His super can be fun to set up, but alright, like, I don't know. So C tier. Next up we have Charlie, and Charlie, you guys know, if you don't know, she's actually in the, what do you call it? The water, why can't I not think of the name? I'm blanking. I'm blanking on the name. I don't know. I don't know what it's called, but the banner, that's what it's called. Why did it take me so long? Charlie is the other brawler with Nani on the banner. I love Charlie. I think she has, even though her super is dumb broken, I love just the overall spam and with her attack. And even though she has a broken gadget, she is my second favorite brawler in the entire game. So she's going up in the S tier as the number 2. And that should be the finalization of the S tier. So, Nani 1, Charlie 2, Janet 3, Mandy 4, Stu 5, Rico 6, Body 7, Ems 8, Tara 9, and Maisie 10. I'm actually very happy with this list for the top 10. There's a couple brawlers you can interchange in there, which I'll talk about them at the end of the video. And next up is Miko, and I really like playing Miko. Like, he honestly could be top 10 too. But he's going to go in the A tier, so I love him. Spike is another brawler I really like playing, so he also will be in the A tier. Next up is Crow, and you guys might hate me for this, but I think Crow is so just not fun to play. I don't like playing Crow at all. He was my third ranked 25 brawler, but then I really didn't touch him since. Like, I don't like playing Crow that much. I don't know. I don't know what it is about him. I just think his attack is quite boring. And no, I know he's annoying, but hate me all you want, D tier. Next up is Leon, and he has been rising. He's actually probably my second favorite legendary behind Meg or Amber or even Spike. So I like Leon now. So he's going to be in the A tier. Next up we have Sandy, and Sandy, I mean, I like him too. Not as much as the other legendaries, but Sandy, he's quite fun to play. Next up we have Amber, and ever since the buff, I mean, she's definitely more fun to play. I don't think she can go higher, so I'll put her in the B tier. Next is Meg, and Meg is probably still my favorite legendary brawler. Or actually Cordelius. I kind of forgot about Cordelius. I'm not going to lie. But A tier, I would put her in the S tier, but I feel like she's just kind of, I don't know. Like, she was a very pushable brawler, especially when she got a rework, and I did really like playing Meg, but, I mean, she's definitely top 20. I don't think she's top 10 anymore. Next is Surge, and that's another legendary brawler I like playing. So, I don't like playing her as much as the other ones, but him, sorry. I just called Surge a female. Oops. But yeah, I like Surge. Next is Chester, and you guys might hate me for this, but when Chester, Mandy, and Gray were released, Chester's actually my least favorite out of the three of them, Mandy being my favorite. But actually, so I'm going to put him in C tier. It might be a little harsh, but I'm not a big Chester lover. I don't know why. Next up is Cordelius, and for me, I love playing Cordelius. He's my second favorite one, probably. Him or Meg, it's between them or Leon. I also really like playing Leon, so a lot of legendaries I like playing. And then the final brawler being Kit. I like playing Kit. I think his gadget's just not fair. The fact that he gets a free Leon super, and I already like playing Leon, so I'm going to give him B tier, though. And quickly, we'll talk about honorable mentions for the S tier. The first one being Miko. I think Miko just barely misses out of the top 10. I have been playing a lot of Miko, and he's just so fun to change supers. Another one being Meg, obviously. I like playing Meg a lot. She is one of my 13 ranked 30 brawlers. And by the way, all of the S tier except for Mandy are all ranked 30. So that's a little biased there. But, yeah. And then the other ranked 30s being in the A tier are actually Surge is ranked 30 in the B tier. You have Lola, B, and Meg, which are the other ranked 30s I forgot to mention. And then obviously Surge. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video. I was kind of lackluster in my opinion now that I finished the video. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.